sunny California, and I can't think of 3 people I would rather spend it with than the 3 A-list world-class stunt drivers on my right, who are part of the stunt driving team of Furious 7. I want to introduce Debbie Evans, Steve Kelso, and Henry Kingi Sr. Debbie, competitive motorcyclist since the age of 6, professional driver, winner of numerous stunt Taurus Awards. Mr. Kelso, also Taurus Award winner, pro racer, motocross pro, multi-SAG Award nominee. And Henry Kingi, Taurus Award winner, career badass, and original member and founder of the Black Stuntmen's Association. Thank you guys so much for sitting down.
Our pleasure.
We're going to talk about Furious 7 because this right now is the most popular stunt action driving film in the history of any franchise in this industry. And it's really, really hot right now. Each one of you has 35 to 40 years of experience working in this industry. That blows my mind, especially considering how much the industry has changed. What is different about working on the Fast and Furious franchise from any other that you might have worked with in the past?
Well, I've worked on 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. And hopefully 8 and 9.
So there is an 8 and 9.
Yeah, we think it's quite possible. Awesome. But the Fast and Furious is basically a family, and these guys I consider as my family, and we've been chasing each other around for years. And there's something special about working on a project that's got that much synergy. And I think we all feel it. And, you know, it would be nice, though, if people could recognize that the cars are the important part, one of the major parts of the movie, and give us the credit we deserve for it.
Of course. Well, and I would like to talk about that a little bit as well, the accreditation that you guys deserve in this industry. But like you said, the cars are almost the principal actors of this franchise, and you've all been a part of several. You've been on 4?
Yeah, the Fast movies are you always know it's going to be fun because, like Debbie said, it's the family, so we always know we're going to have a good time. But it's nerve-wracking, too, because we are put in positions that we want to do the best job possible with some kind of radical stuff.
And this is seriously radical stuff. Fast 7 has actually topped the stunts from the other 6 movies. What was the most dangerous stunt driving that you've done on this film?
I think everything.
Well, fair enough.
When you get in the car, you don't know what's going to happen. You plan for everything, and you hope for the best. And like we're talking about, the same thing they said. It's a family, and truly it is. It's there are words that people throw out there that are just there to be said, but because we've worked together so long. Where you would have to spend time talking to someone, explaining what you want.
You can read each other.
You can walk by, you can drive by and say one word out the window, and we're in sync.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because that's absolutely true. I mean, it's you know, as a racing driver or whatever, you get to know people that you race with. Well, it's the same with the stunt people. I know that Henry or Debbie is going to give me the room or space or whatever that I need, or maybe they need to get closer. It's just like an intuitive kind of a thing, but we've all done it so much together that it becomes really much easier.
More synchronized.
Yeah, and we can even read when somebody's having a problem and something's going wrong and know where to go kind of instinctively, because we've worked together and driven together so much throughout the years that, you know, we intuitively know what the other one's going to do.
And fortunately, when that happens, we have saved a lot of cars from being crashed.
And a lot of people, a lot of drivers, crew
Yeah.
members and whatnot. Yeah. It takes that. It takes having a tight team. I mean, this crew is irreplaceable. These are some of the who's who of driving in the industry. You must have the accreditation that all of you do and the experience that you do to do stunts like this, because it's unforgiving. I know we all know people who have been injured or killed making movies and television shows for the industry.
Well, you know, I like to say it like this. A car is a lethal weapon. You've got at least 2,000 pounds heading very fast in a direction. When someone does a fight scene and their foot gets out of control and clocks somebody in the face,
I've had that happen.
They're not even, yeah, it's always a bummer, but they're not, or a camera or whatever, they're not trying to hit someone, for one thing. And then another thing is it doesn't create the amount of damage and could be loss of life or permanent injury damage to equipment that if a car gets out of control, that you deal with.
Right.
And unfortunately now, we've all dealt with it. The new cars try and think for themselves. And so
that's different too.
You know, anybody can get in a car in a parking lot and do 180s and slide up to a box and things like that. But when we get out on set, there are so many things that are thrown at us from the car and what it will do and what it won't do.
Yeah.
And all of the things that they put in our way and the people that they put in our way.
So you have to stay on top of the mechanics of new automobiles coming off the lines too. You have to understand they're not the way that you used to be able to get your leg and your arm under the tranny to work on it back in the day, and now it's all computerized.
Most of the time, the car prep guys or the picture car guys have time to prep the cars properly.
You say most of the time. What happens when they don't?
In the last couple shows, they, they're still writing the script and they've started production. And so then that puts everybody else, including the picture car guy, Dennis McCarthy, behind. Then we're given the car to kind of run what you brung kind of a attitude. You have to drive it. Here it is. It's not right. But go,
there's no other.
But go do it, yeah.
Yeah, and Dennis apologizes for it, and we totally understand that he's under the gun. I got in the Barracuda the first night, and I put my foot on the floor, and my foot went through the floor because it was so rotted out. And we get in, there's no seatbelts and all that, because it just came off the truck from purchasing it and getting the stickers on and being dropped off at set.
No time to retrofit it for anything heavy driving.
And we had so many multiples of different cars.
Oh, gosh. Wow. Things that people don't realize. Over the past, certainly in the past 15 years, most action films are so heavily dependent upon action and stunt people specifically. And it kills me to see, even now, even on Fast and Furious on the franchise, you guys are the last in the credits on any movie film. It's after everybody else. You're at the very end.
That's at this point, over the years, it's been a little sticking point because at different times we wouldn't get credits on shows. And now you're talking about this show, which is Universal. First, Fast 5 came out and broke all Universal's records. Fast 6 came out and broke Fast 5, all his records.
Yeah.
Now Fast 7 came out and it broke Fast 6's records. So they're making all of this money off of all of these action shows, and the people that are responsible are, like you said, not getting the credit they deserve, which is all the stunt people.
Sure.
And you said that with all the action that's going on, probably, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago when the Oscars came out.
Yes.
They had Will Smith go up on stage, and he said, stunts don't get the credit they deserve. And they showed all these clips of all these stunts. And then they went on to say, okay, CGI, they went on to give a CGI company an Oscar for fake stunts.
Yes.
Not the real stunts that the people
That's got to be painful and insulting
and they got
to all of you.
an Oscar before all these people who've been out there for years putting their lives on the line. And then CG work is based off of the work that all the people do.
That you actually do on a regular basis.
It was, pretty much we felt a slap in the face.
It is for, all of us. Here they're touting #1 movie in the world, which we, as a team, we probably put together. We probably had 15 to 30 minutes of screen time. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. No credit. It's a little bit frustrating, a little bit disrespectful. So, it's hard. It's really hard to understand because if anything, what the movies have done lately seems that the budgets are bigger.
Yes.
The money they take in is bigger.
Yes.
We as stunt people, the residuals are shrinking.
Shrinking away.
And we get no screen credit. It's.
Now, did I also understand you weren't invited to the premiere either?
Yes. No, we weren't. As stunt people, we were not invited to the premiere.
Wow.
Yeah.
It blows my mind a bit.
Yeah, and there was no casting crew screening either.
So nothing. You got nothing at the end of your work on
No. Our boss Spiro Rosados put on a very nice thing for us, and if that hadn't happened, nothing would have happened.
Yeah, he paid out of his own pocket and bought tickets for all of the second unit
and
to
dinner.
go
That was
to
awesome.
a lunch and then go to the movie.
Like you said, you're a family. You're in the trenches. You're risking life and limb to make these movies happen. It's mind-boggling to me as a fan of action films to hear that you're not given the attention or the accreditation, the pat on the back that you deserve. I would feel insulted. I feel insulted for you.
And this team, with Spiro at the head and Andy you know, being the technical, getting all of the logistics together and putting it all together is just amazing. You know, like Henry said, as 5, 6, and 7, they've just exponentially gone, whoa, over the top.
How are we going to top this? And it always falls on your laps.
And when we were on set, they didn't want to give us anything. You know, it took an act of God
what
to
you needed
get
to do your stunt?
Well,
a robot or, you know, the things that we needed to get our job done.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of little things. And we love Universal Studios. We love the business we do. We are at the top of our profession, and we're getting no credibility for that, whether it's the hotel they put us in, the screen credit we get, the residuals that are shrinking. I mean, it's, and it makes me not want to go to work anymore.
And you're talking about a movie that they're saying is on track to make $1 billion.
$1 billion from the work that you contributed to this film.
Yeah, a lot of money.
No disrespect to the A-list actors who are phenomenal in this film, but somebody had likened it somewhere in the press that, you know, it's a really, really great, heavy action driving film with a little bit of dialogue in between. You know, I thought, oh wow, if you think about it that way.
I think it's more than that.
It's definitely more than that.
It's more of a collaborative work, I believe. You know, we need them, they need us.
Yes, yeah.
And we just want to be recognized. And, you know, we're still getting the same rate as someone who comes in on their first day. Brand new, working, the same daily rate. Which even after all these
your rate
years,
doesn't rise exponentially with the amount of the quality or the experience that you have. It doesn't, you know, the
Not
ability
really.
to negotiate.
The union rate it goes up the cost of living, you know, index.
But that's it. And it just depends on the coordinator or second unit director that's working with you, and his respect for you and the work you do.
To take care of you.
They can give you more on your adjustments.
But their hands are tied somewhat too.
Yeah, when it gets to a budget on a
studio.
show.
Got you.
And then, you know, that we're talking about the credits. You have CGI. When I was talking about the CGI, you have 100 or 200 names for
Before
CGI.
yours. I saw that, yes.
CGI people.
CGI, correct me if I'm wrong, but CGI is not dangerous. Takes a lot of work, but it's not dangerous.
it might be
right?
carpal tunnel.
Oh, well, that's something. I'm sure there's insurance for that. I think with me, because I'm a huge fan of action films, and as I've become friends with you guys and I've heard your stories, my mind is boggled that you haven't gotten any of the attention and accreditation that you deserve. I believe that you deserve, having watched what people go through.
Yeah.
We're not talking about people who just started in stunts. You have a lifetime of discipline doing what you do for a living.
Yeah, I wrote a letter to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science when that incident happened with the CGI, when they got their first Oscar above stunt people. And sent a letter and stated the same thing, that I saw the show the night before, and Will Smith was talking about the stunts didn't get what they deserved, showed all these stunts, and you went on to give a Oscar to the CGI company. And I said, their stunt people have been out there for years and years and years, putting their lives, bodies, and everything on the line to create action movies for this industry. And there's no respect given because they're trying to get a Oscar for stunt coordinator or second unit director.
Right.
I got a letter back from the head guy, and he said they are not. They've had a few meetings, and they've presented it to the board, and they decided that at this time they're not going to give second unit directors any Oscars. And I had mentioned about coordinators. He never mentioned coordinators. He just fluffed over it and pushed it aside, not to give recognition. They just decided at this point it's not something that they can do. And then they said, and we don't have room. There are too many awards, and we don't have room. And they went from 5 to 10 shows that they were nominating the next year when they don't have room to put
See, the problem with some of this is that
stunts.
you're not getting an Oscar. You're getting a very soft Emmy. It's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with the ones that don't make it to the telecast.
Right.
And you've even had to create your own stunt award show, the Taurus Stunt Awards, the World Taurus Stunt Awards, which for yourselves was a way of saying, you know what, thank you so much, and good job on the work that you've done. I'm inspired by it. You deserve recognition for the work that you've done.
Thank goodness to Red Bull. Otherwise, that wouldn't have happened.
It would have
either.
happened,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want a Red Bull sponsorship right here.
Yeah.
Actually,
No, it's true though.
Yeah.
Diedrich Mateschitz from Red Bull, the owner, is the one who saw us as the unsung heroes. And he respected what we did so much that he was the one who came up with the Taurus World Stunt Awards.
Wonderful.
And the best thing about the Taurus World Stunt Awards is not the trophy. It's great, and we all love it and everything, but there is a Taurus foundation for stunt people that are injured, seriously injured, and not able to return to their work for forever or just for a little bit and get in financial straits. And to me, you know, that says it all. And I really give him kudos for standing behind us and recognizing who we are.
Yeah, it's been helpful for the community for sure, to keep you as a community as well. The thing, what I've noticed mostly is that, you know, the studios and the production companies don't give you the notoriety that they give, obviously, the A-list actors, and you're not on the red carpets. And because of that, the general public who buys these tickets doesn't know who you are. They have no clue what you do, what your faces look like, and some of you are doubling the actors on the films, and really in parking cars in trees on occasion, if I remember that correctly. They don't know, they don't understand, they don't know what it takes to be a trained professional in this industry, because they see shows like Jackass and things on YouTube, and to them, stunts are stunts.
Right.
How do you feel about that? And what do you think really defines what a stunt professional is?
Wow.
Well, you know, with all respect to the Jackass guys, I mean, it's completely different than what we do. I mean, we're a professional and we train at exactly what we're doing for the job we're doing. Jackass, I don't know that. You know, do a lot of spoofy, crazy, silly stuff. You know, it's.
And props to them.
like-
I wouldn't do it. So,
No, I wouldn't do it.
It's like it's a reality show, and that's also kind of brings in where you have guys that are daredevils, and then you have stunt people. Daredevils go out and try to do something to kill themselves one time, and you get people that run up to you and say, "I want to be a stunt man. I'm crazy.
I'm crazy, and it's so cool.
I don't want to work with you."
No, it's a liability.
You know, it's a profession, and you try to do things that are going to turn out and look as spectacular as you hope they will, and be able to go to work the next day, because it's a job. It's not a one-time shot to go out there and do something.
Right. Well, it's not a one-time shot on the day either. When you get a stunt, you do it as many times as it takes until they have what they need.
It's risky, but with us, it's a calculated risk.
Right. The science behind it as well as the physical.
And we dissect, you know, when we get on set and we have to do a chase, we're looking at everything. We're watching, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going, oh, look, there's paint on that and it's got some oil. Okay. You know, and we're all thinking the same thing.
There's a rock over there. I got to move that.
Yeah, no, you walk your sets and you'll kick rocks off everywhere. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. No, we got it dialed, you know.
Thinking of everybody as well as a team, as well as the crew and everybody that's standing
Also,
around.
the cameras, the crew, everybody that's there, you know, they're trying to get shots. They have equipment in, like Debbie was saying earlier, and you have to try to come in and make it exciting and not take out any of those people or any of those things. And then you might need it take after take after take, and you got to keep doing it over, and you're going, when are you going to get this shot?
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't know how lucky they are.
Right.
Do you tell them? Do you ever tell them how close they were to disaster?
I've had several conversations with Spiro, and Andy's awesome, and Andy already knows, but it's getting it across to Spiro. Go, Spiro, this is a 1 in 100 shot. You really, come on, you crazy.
I've heard it. I've heard him many times say that.
Calmly like that?
Yes, very well. That's how he does it.
Honestly, what was the most... your careers are what's what in moviedom and the action films. There's so many credits, I don't even know where to begin between the three of you. What is the most dangerous, scary, standout stunt that you've ever done for the sake of motion pictures? So I don't know which one to pick.
Well, so here's my deal. Anyway, you say the word scary. If I really thought I had good potential of getting hurt, I would probably give it to Henry.
Give it to Henry?
Yeah. I mean, so...
Like family.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, it is family, right?
Yeah.
You do it.
You suffer.
No, I mean, we think it out. We, you know, some of the stuff is pretty nuts that we do, but if I thought I was really going to get hurt, I probably wouldn't do it. I mean, it's silly. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty interesting. He's joking, but he's
Of
pretty
course.
gnarly. And yes, you have to go in with the mindset that you're going to get it done. You can't go in the mindset that you're not going to get it done. It's
Can't second guess.
yeah. You talk about one thing that I did. I worked on Bad Boys 2, and I had to drive this yellow Hummer down this hill. And they had a cliff on that side, they had a cliff on that side, and they had a cliff in the front. And we were inside, and we had radios in our helmets, and there were two guys at the top of the hill in a shed. And then they were watching us, and they were watching the collapsing of the building as they go down. That's where they could tell where we were.
Right.
And if they saw the collapsing of the building headed toward the cliff, they would say right, or left.
Wow.
And so I got about 3/4 of the way down, and I heard, "Oops, I lost you."
oops.
What? Where am I?
That was a gnarly sequence, Henry.
So you get
Okay.
into situations, and thank God I came out where I was supposed to.
Wow.
You do a lot of praying and get stuff done, but a
Wow.
lot of situations. But and a lot of times you think the simplest thing is nothing, but it can be dangerous.
Sure.
There was a guy who, not dealing with a car, but he had to drop Jerry Summers years ago. He was done on a lady. This is a long time ago, and he had to drop from a tree branch wearing a pair of high heels, and he said, "I don't want to do that." And they said, "No, come in. It's just a quick shot. You just come in, hang, drop down, and walk out of the shot." He came in, dropped, had the high heels on, compound fractured his ankle, drove it through his skin. He limped the rest of his life.
Wow.
So the simplest little thing, like going up and throwing on a little 90, you have to be on the alert that if the tires blow out, if you get a surge in the transmission or the gas pedal, the car, we have gotten in cars, and when we're doing the things, all of a sudden it'll surge and the car's out of control. Now we got to figure out what to do. We got to turn out of the way, stop the car, turn the key off, put it in gear. It's just, you got to be on top of it because you're trying to get this aggressive motion in. You're trying to get this aggressive shot with all the people standing around, but you also have to be aware that if something happens,
You have to adjust.
I got to be ready to stop.
Right. And that's a lot of seat time and a lot of experience
Oh,
that
it
gets
gets
into your muscles and your brain.
Yeah, one time I was working on the ring, and I had a Volvo station wagon, and I come out of a parking structure and turn right, and I'm headed toward an intersection with camera right here, and I'm about here getting ready to throw my slide, and my throttle stick's wide open. And
Awesome.
so I reached down, shut the engine off, and it was an older car, so it didn't lock on me, and I was able to make the turn coasting. I turned it back on, finished the shot, and had to go through a bunch of cars. And at the very end, the throttle stuck again, and there was a van coming this way, and I ticked mirrors. And then I said,
From
okay,
perspective of camera, like, what's
your
your
cars?
doing?
Mechanic, please.
Oh, God,
But,
wow.
we just have to react. And another thing that's really cool is people don't realize, they think, oh, it's just driving. It's a performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do it,
Yeah.
you do it, I do it, the rest of our team does it.
Yeah.
We know where a camera is. We know what's happening. We know what the story involves.
Sometimes you
whether
even know what your
somebody's
actors are doing. You have
drunk
to
or
match
can't
them.
drive
Yeah.
very well or whatever. We portray all this stuff.
Wow.
And we make the car behave so that the audience believes that this is real.
Real and seamless as well.
And that's a big part of it, is knowing camera, knowing how to play the camera, knowing what the lenses are. And so the amount of experience that we're able to bring to the table saves production so much
time and money. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of really, really talented drivers in the business, but they don't necessarily do what you do as the team that you are. What do you think it is that made this team a team, and why you and not somebody else? I mean, how did this come to be? And you've worked on 4 or 5 films, each of you,
Yeah,
of
I
this
mean,
franchise.
you say there are good drivers, but there are some better drivers, and I think that's what we benefit from as a team. So Spiro and Andy put together the team, and he has some good people who can do the job, you know?
Just honestly,
We
one
were
of the
lucky
most...
enough to get picked.
We got lucky enough to get picked. I think you earned it, lady. You know, especially being a woman in this industry, too. You've got all kinds of other challenges that you have to face, but then at the end of the day, you go home and your mom and your, you know, wife and your other things too, and you as well. I mean, you got sons in the business that have grown up and learned from you, and now they're doing stunts as well.
Yeah.
Steve, I don't know if you've got family in the business.
Nope, not yet.
That might be a blessing. I mean, they must.
Yeah.
You must worry about your kids, and it's a different business now than it ever has been.
Oh yeah, big difference.
Big difference. The industry has changed. Well, if there's one thing walking away, I can talk to you guys forever about Furious 7 and the car stunts, which I think everybody wants to hear about. But if there's one thing you can say as a message or inspiration to people who want to be stunt professionals in this industry, what can you give them to walk away with? Something serious that they can walk away with about what it really takes to do what you do for a living.
Well, I mean, it's a job. You know, like I was saying earlier, it's not a daredevil situation. It's a job. It's a profession, and what you have to do is try to learn all the things that are necessary in that job. Like Debbie was saying about the camera work. You know, at times when you're doing shots, you as a driver, you make a decision where to put the car so the camera can see you. And if somebody tells a new guy, okay, bring a car, go down the street, do this, and they say, okay, and now the camera car is moving around, and he just goes down the street, he'll be out of the shot most of the time.
Sure.
So, like she said, you have to pay attention to where that is, and put the car in those positions with the attitude that you want to do it. So, to go out and learn like camera work, camera angles, how to do your job and be safe as you can. I mean, all those things are in your mind. You don't just go out and aggressively try to turn a car over. You're looking at safety factors in all directions.
I think most people think that it's just cool. They love the cool factor of it, and that kind of drives them into wanting to be stuntmen. But I never hear any of you talk about how cool it is.
When I worked on Dukes of Hazzard, people were talking about, oh man, that's so cool. It must be so cool flying through the air. I said, yes, it is, but you gotta land. And when you land, you don't want to break your body up, or so you set up harnesses and all these different things to try to soften that blow.
You know, it can be the coolest job ever. When you're in the moment of actually doing the particular stunt, it's the best job ever. But the reality is, it's taken a long time. And for anybody new who wants to start, not only do they have to be talented and they have to learn many different things, such as Henry was saying about being safe and physics and silly stuff, but they're going to spend 10 years. They're going to spend at least 10 years. They could have went to school to be a lawyer for 10 years or a doctor. Right. And it's going to take them 10 years till they get a circle of people that are going to hire them, to do the job and to trust them. And so that's something they really need to think about. If they have the heart and the knowledge and they want to do it, they can certainly succeed. But it's a long road. I mean, and people should really understand that.
There's no easy way, basically.
No, I don't believe there's an easy way. I was fortunate I got in because of my background, but I actually had been training for stunts my entire life and didn't know it. So, I loved every sport. I was climbing fences and hanging from things and wheeling my bicycle and skateboards and unicycles and skiing and snow, on and on. I loved everything active. And motorcycles was my specialty. Sometimes it helps to have a specialty when you come in. In fact, most times it does. Something that you're really, really extraordinary at. And then it takes a lot of time to branch out and learn all of the other things. But it takes a lot of training and major dedication.
And honesty.
And I'd like to say one thing also that's very important, and that's when we're talking about Spiro Rosatos, who's the second unit director, Andy Gill, the stunt coordinator, and sometimes Jack is, and Jack is one of the drivers as well. You can do the most spectacular stunt in the world, but if it doesn't get on film, nobody sees it, and it doesn't look like anything.
Sure. And that can happen too.
With Spiro and Andy and the whole conversation and working together, it makes it possible to get all of that stuff on film. And that's where Spiro and Andy are their genius selves.
Right, and also Spiro has his own DP and camera operators and Alan Padelford and crew to shoot a lot of our action. So it stays a full team.
There's a lot of trust there.
Yeah.
I love familiarity.
Peter Grimes, you know, is you go to work and there's the family that works together and makes it all happen.
Well, the entire world is watching this family because this is arguably the most successful action franchise in the history of filmmaking. And I'm really excited that people can see your faces and get to know you a little bit. And it's just a portion of the team, but it's really important for them to know who you are and where you come from and how these things are done. And I hope we can have maybe you guys back at another time and talk about other elements of stunts and filmmaking.
You should come to work with us.
Yeah.
Why would I say no to that?
We should take you for a ride.
Did you say 4 or yeah, I'm in. No problem. Thank you guys so much for sitting down. Debbie Evans, Steve Kelso, Henry Kinji Sr. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Lisa Katara, and there will be more to come, so keep tuning into all of this madness.